All right, section 3 of the exam, running on real devices. So let's start with question 3.1, which asks, how do you find the least busy device to run the following circuit? And I remember when I took this test that um, it was a little bit confusing what device meant, because device could be a simulator or it could be actual hardware, an actual quantum processing unit. And I think they did clarify that by device they meant only the hardware, so not to run on a simulator. So we're given a few options here, and we need to figure out which one is the one of these options that will guarantee that this will run successfully on the least busy provider. So let's go ahead and first, before getting started, a very important thing is that you need to make sure that you have an IBM account. So we're gonna import IBMQ from Qiskit, import IBMQ, and then we're gonna specify our provider as IBMQ dot. We're gonna load our account. Now that's what I mean. You need to have your token already in place and saved for this to run successfully. Okay, so we're gonna run this, and then that always takes a minute. And after we've loaded our provider, well, the first thing we can do is run this least busy command with provider backends. But before that, let's just run this provider backends on its own to see what we have. So what this gives us is a list with all the different devices that we have access to. So here we have the QASM simulator. This is a RMonk, which is a 1 qubit device, and so on and so forth. So obviously, if we run the command least busy, which we would have to import here. So let's go ahead and do from Qiskit providers IBMQ import least busy, and if we now run this command on all the available backends, well, that's just gonna narrow down the list to the one that is the least busy. Now this is all well and good, but the problem is that from the list below you could see that there were not only just hardware quantum processors, but there were also simulators, and the question is asking how do we get the least busy of the actual hardware. So just doing that command on this is definitely not the right option. Furthermore, in order to run this circuit successfully, we would need a QPU with at least 5 qubits, right? Because this circuit has 5 qubits, and as you can see here, there's providers like RMonk which only have 1 qubit, and we can see that if we do something a little bit nicer here. So for example, we do for backend in providers backend, and then we print, let's say, the name of the backend, which is here backend, and then we print number of qubits, and then we specify here backend dot configuration, and then here dot n qubits. Then this is going to print the name of each of the providers. So for example, here the QASM simulator can simulate up to 32 qubits, and so on and so forth. So as you can see here, for example, RMonk only has 1 qubit. So if for some reason RMonk is the least busy on a specific day, the circuit wouldn't be able to run. So this option 1 is not correct. Now let's take a look at option 2. Let's just go ahead and copy and paste that and run it down here. So what this is going to do, well, you know what, let's remove this least busy command and just print what is happening here. So as you can see here, we're still gonna show some backends, but now we have a filter, and this filter basically specifies that we want from the configuration that gives us the number of qubits for it to give us more than 5 qubits. So if we make that list, then we see that, for example, RMonk is no longer in that list. But the problem is we still have the simulators. So obviously option 2 is not the correct answer, because even though it will give us the least busy device with 5 qubits, it will still could give us a simulator. Now the last option has 2 filters, right? So we have a filter for the number of qubits larger than 5, and also we want that for it to not provide a simulator. So if you see here, not and configuration simulator, and also it has a filter that says that we want the status of that backend to be operational. So this option seems very promising, right? So if we go ahead and now run it here, well, what this is going to show us is, okay, now we have only QPUs, only quantum hardware, no simulator, and since we're filtering for more than 5 qubits, it's only giving us the ones we have available with 5 qubits, and also the ones that are operational. What was the problem here? Well, in option 3, we don't have this least busy command, so it wouldn't provide us with the least busy simulator or hardware. We'll have to add that to this for us to get the right one. So let's run that and see which one it was at this point in time. Obviously this changes day to day, and as new devices come up, then those queues and waiting times for the different devices change. So right now the least busy is Belém, and that means that for question 3.1 the answer is none of the above.